Hello, hello, beautiful soul. I want to wish you a happy, happy new year. Welcome to 2020. It is going to be a fabulous decade, I believe. I'm feeling it. I have it on good authority that it's going to be a good year for those of us who are really ready to fully own that this life of ours is ours to co-create. That's right. You, my beautiful friend, you are a soul on a journey, a heroic journey, I might add, and you are really meant to be the co-creator of an epic life story. And I believe that this 2020 decade, this kickoff for this decade, is going to be just what the doctor ordered. Yeah. So I am super excited to be connected with you again. I've been away, you might have noticed, or maybe you were away too, so you didn't notice. But I took pretty much the entire month of December away from being highly, highly visible on social media, tidying up some loose ends with some clients, and getting ready for the release of dun, da, 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 this beautiful baby here, a new book with 21 amazing authors. Okay, wait, I'm one of those 21, so I guess I shouldn't say that. There's 20 other authors besides myself, and it's called The Top 10 Traits of Highly Resilient People. And it took us a little longer to get this book tidied up because we have so many people who really dug deep. And I am so, so grateful to these amazing authors because the vision I had for this book was I had previously published an ebook covering these top 10 traits. And these are the traits that I first learned about when I was in psychotherapy from my own stress and burnout. And I learned about how we could build up resilience. And over the last 12, 13 years, I've realized that all of these high performance people, from all of the athletes and movie stars and superstars that I worked with in Hollywood and beyond, many of them, the ones with lasting staying power, they have these resilience traits. And so the thing for me has always been, how do I take what I learned from these high performance movie stars and superstars and bring it into the realm of what I do with my clients and people at retreats? And so this book, The Top 10 Traits of Highly Resilient People, is something that I really deeply wanted to help every person out there who's ever suffered burnout, breakups, breakdowns, all that sort of stuff that can just kind of leave us devastated. I wanted to give people insight into the different ways that you can build up these resilience traits, and also to know that just because you've had some major trauma or drama, it doesn't have to block you from really bouncing forward and thriving. It's what we call in psychology terms post-traumatic growth. And that's really what this book is all about. So I'm deeply grateful to the 20 authors, plus me, who have shared personal stories of how they've come through challenging times and now they are thriving and kicking butt. So I would love for you to go and check out the book on Amazon or your favorite book retailer and get a copy. You will start to see more interviews coming out with these beautiful authors. They are truly just inspiring. Like, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Each and every one of them is truly inspiring. So that's a little bit of why I have been away. But I did host in December with my dear friend and colleague, Malin Hedlund. We co-hosted a 2.5-hour workshop, live, free, to help people anticipate and plan for this new decade. I don't like to do this very often because people are always asking me how I do so much. And I don't like to give out generic advice. I like for you to tune in and figure out exactly what's going to work for you, to find your focus and your flow. But the one system that has consistently worked for me, which we've incorporated into a life design program called Diamond Life Design, is something that I learned about 10 years ago. So Malin Hedlund and I co-hosted a workshop taking you through this process of answering 10 questions to get crystal clear on what matters to you most, what psychological blocks you may have been holding on to, or excuses that prevent you from achieving a life of, your ultimate dream. And then we help you construct sort of the mental software that you need to run in order to make this next year your best year yet, and every year thereafter. So drop a comment in the comment section if you'd like for me to share the link so that you can watch the replay. It's not too late. Now, this is a process we do usually at the end of the year to kind of review the year, what worked and what didn't work, why the things that worked did, and what kind of tripped us up. And it's a truly powerful system. It has truly changed my life. So if you've ever wondered how it is as a single mom living in the south of France with no family here, I'm running multiple companies with a global presence, you're going to find out exactly how I do all of that. So I don't like to usually tell that sort of stuff because, one, it sounds like I'm bragging, but I'm not. I just happen to, for this lifetime, the kind of energy system that I have, I wake up really early and I can kind of just go and go and go as long as I program in rest and restoration. And so that was one of the big, big lessons coming out of 2018, where I nearly went into burnout. I was really just flat out not a happy girl. And it was not pretty. And so January of last year, I decided to take my entire week, the fourth week of every month off. So no client work. I might still quote unquote work if I'm inspired, but I took the entire week of every month in 2019 off. Now, sometimes I was traveling, so there was a little quote unquote work happening, but I stuck to it because I planned it in January. I literally went into my Google Calendar and said out, so that my team, my VAs, nobody could book anything in those sections that whole week. So I booked that time in, and that really, really saved me, because every month, if there was a month that I really was rocking it, or I had to travel to 2 or 3 different countries, being on stages or being in production, I had time to rest and recover. So I didn't end the year in burnout. I ended the year with 6 days up in the mountains at a beautiful Buddhist meditation center, which I've been attending since 2013. And being able to just go within and tune into the peace that is always within. It was incredible, because the first couple of days I was just sort of enjoying the quiet. We have a meditation session at 7 in the morning, and then teaching from 10 till 12, and then lunch together, this beautiful for me, vegan meals prepared by this beautiful woman named Muriel, and then teaching again at 3, and afternoon practice of our prayers and chants and visualizations and all these things. And our Tibetan Lama Trayor, is just, he is just a treasure. And he cracks jokes, believe it or not. So it was like the first few days of this retreat, it was just like the peace, because it's in the mountains with this crisp, clean, beautiful, pure air. I don't know if you saw some of the videos, but it was amazing. And then by day 3.5 or 4, this sense of clarity in my mind after sitting for 4 to 6 hours every day doing these rituals, it was amazing, because a thought would appear, but it's like when you have just one cloud in the sky and you can really see it. That's the kind of sort of presence that came up for me. And I could still just sort of let the thought pass away if it was about work, which generally it wasn't. It was content ideas. My creativity was popping. But being in that state of peace was such a gift that it allowed me to really hone in on what is really important. What do I feel in my soul, not in my head, not in my ego, but what, I was asking, what do you, higher self, divine self, what do you really want to express in this coming year? And that's what I want to share with you. What we are doing at Make Your Mark Global is changing some things up. I currently host something called the Personal Branding Bootcamp. And this is an authentic bootcamp that is really just meant for the heart-centered entrepreneurs. If you're trying to become some egoic superstar, this ain't for you. But if you are soul conscious and you truly want to show up as your authentic self, then this personal branding bootcamp is spot on. It has helped all of my luminaries really get clear, number one, on just being able to describe what you do. Have you ever met someone who you ask them, oh, what do you do? And they give you something either basic, like, I can't even think of anything basic, like, oh, I'm a chiropractor or I'm a Reiki healer. Now, those are fine, but they conjure up in your mind kind of probably one or two things that probably don't actually reflect what most people actually do as healers. So the Personal Branding Bootcamp, we are hosting live Q&As every single month to help people get total clarity on what they're doing. I'm also introducing a new live Q&A every single month in support of this beautiful baby here, the Real Self-Love Handbook. If you haven't gotten a copy, what are you waiting for, yo? This was made with love for you or your clients. The Real Self-Love Handbook is chock full of all of the practices that I have been teaching and using personally for the last 15 years. So it's psychology, neuroscience, and spirituality all in one. And it's really designed to help you tune into who you really are, to love who you really are, and then to design a life where you're living as your authentic self. And so what I've decided to do is the second Tuesday of every month, I will host a free live Q&A to help people go through whatever they need to process. There's a lot of trauma processing exercises in the book. There's life writing, there's inner child work and reparenting work. And that's just really informed from all the work that I've done as a medical doctor and acupuncturist and working with therapists. So every month we'll be doing that live Q&A. So if you'd like to take advantage of that, type yes. No, don't just type yes. Like, tell me which one you want. I will give you the links to that. The other thing that we are also going to be doing 2020, I've got a list because 2020 is already looking cray. The relaunch of my podcast, Liberate Your Authentic Self, happened in November with the beautiful Mia Lux. She's the host of the Conscious-ish show. And we are bringing Liberate Your Authentic Self back. Two versions. One is Liberate Your Authentic Brand for people who are in the entrepreneurial space, and Liberate Your Authentic Self for all things about empowerment, psychology, self-love, and overall joy. And the other cool podcast that's coming is about conscious relationships. Now, a few years ago, I published a book called The Orgasm Prescription for Women, and it became a bestseller almost instantly and really has spurred a lot of great conversation, some great O's, but most importantly, great healing. Again, that book too has a lot of insights about healing trauma. And one of the big things that came after the second year that the book was out, where people were sending me beautiful messages about achieving the big O. But the most important one was, now that I have processed through the trauma or the drama that was holding them back from fully embracing their sensuality and vitality, the whole question about conscious relationships came up. Like, how do I bring this consciousness into dating? Which was, a big issue for me. A couple of years ago, I was like, okay, how are we going to do this dating thing, right? So I have a big partnership announcement to make. I'm not going to make it just yet because I need the ink on the contract, but some really big, exciting news is coming your way for me in the realm of spirituality and consciousness, and in particular, conscious relationships. So in this podcast, I will be interviewing other experts in the field around, some of it will be about sex, but it's really about how do we bring our authentic self into relationship. And whether you're fully healed on your journey, I don't know if many of us are, whatever little stuff that has tripped you up in relationships? How do you continue to work on that while still being in a relationship or calling in and manifesting that divine relationship that you so desire? So I'm super excited about that. The Conscious Relationship podcast is coming soon. And I'm going completely out of order here, but in the realm of Make Your Mark Global, and as it pertains to love and relationships, we are calling for new authors for a book on manifesting love. Now, you might have heard about this last year. We had a few authors jump up right away. We are still looking for another 5 to 7 authors who have a story of how they either manifested love or had some synchronistic connection that led them to the greatest love of their life. That book just tell me that you want information and I'll share that link with you. And another book on holistic healing. So the other big news for me for 2020 is I run a company called Innate Vitality, which is all about bringing together the best of all worlds. Integrative medicine is about honoring ancient practices, the ancient wisdom from Chinese medicine and Ayurveda and other healing modalities, along with the science of what we know works from, conventional medicine. And so Innate Vitality is expanding. We are working on a documentary film around healing and what it takes to really thrive after a breakdown. And of course, our supplement line that we originally launched with will be expanding as well. So we have nutritional supplements for depression, anxiety, and burnout recovery. So it's exciting times for us. So at Innate Vitality, you'll see that we have a whole new roster of experts who will be contributing to the Innate Vitality online magazine and the podcast and new courses. So our first course on the Innate Vitality platform is by Dr. Jill Stocker. And it's all about how to reclaim your juiciness in 24 hours or less. Like, woo, isn't that an amazing claim? So Dr. Jill is an amazing hormone optimization expert. She's a doctor. She's in Hollywood, California, and she's been taking care of me for the last almost a year. As I was starting to feel like, okay, I'm pushing 50, let's take a look at the hormones. And so she's going to really help you understand where your hormones are and what you can do naturally to really get everything flowing again. So I'm super excited about that. This is just going to be like an epic year. So I think I've covered everything. Yeah. So if you are interested in any of those things, just leave a comment and I will share links with you. The other thing I think that most people are curious about is this life writing thing. It's true that at Make Your Mark Global, we help authors who want to publish or who want to contribute to a group book. But behind the scenes, there's a whole life writing and hero's journey training that goes on for our authors. And what they typically do is they fly here to the south of France for a workshop called Stories with Soul. And then there's online videos to support their writing process. So if you happen to be someone who has a story that you want to share, whether that's on stage, on video, or in a book, we've now we will be opening Stories with Soul and our life writing course to the public. So even if you're not being published by us, but you want to learn how to tell your story or tell the stories of your clients in a really compelling way using Joseph Campbell's Hero's Journey. I've designed the life writing course. It includes 10 different writing prompts that will teach you and also heal you. All of it actually stems from psychology. Before you get into the writing piece that comes from Hollywood, with Joseph Campbell, really analyzing the best stories out there. But from the psychology perspective, life writing is all about personal narrative. And so my goal is to help you become the hero of your own epic life story. And how do you move from victim to hero? Well, there is some magic that happens through this writing process. And so there's 10 different writing prompts that will get you there. And we are now opening that up so that people can do this online and then watch the live stream or actually come to us in France. So I'm super excited because this means that we can start helping more people, and we can even have other coaches and healers using this modality with their own clients. It's been revolutionary, I mean, truly, in my own life. And being able to share my personal story, which was never an intention of mine, it happened just by my own need to purge. But as I became more confident in just sharing my truth, it has allowed so many more people to come into my space, feeling that heart connection, and me being able to really support them through their own healing journey. So that is a little bit of what I've been up to. I've seen some comments coming in, and now I don't see them anymore. So I gotta find them. But what's up, my peeps? It's very good to have so many of you chiming in. Happy New Year. If you have got any interest in any of those things, the live Q&As for Real Self-Love, we have a group on Facebook where many of our Real Self-Love leaders from around the world are also chiming in. So there's master classes, there's the Real Self-Love Manifesto that you can download. So whether you've got the book or not, there's a whole bunch of support resources to take you through the cornerstone process, which is this 5-step process that I use that helps you heal, integrate, and then eventually move into this hero that you were born to be. Roberta, you're hilarious. They only want me for my pimp juice. Yes. So yeah, look out for all of these new classes, the new podcasts, the expansion of the Innate Vitality magazine, our supplement line that's exploding and expanding. And if you are still recovering from the holidays and you want to just tune in to joy, there's one other thing that you can join me for while it's still going on. And that is something called 7 Days of Joy. So our dear friend, Halina Goldstein from the Joy Keepers Network has created a process where everyone can tune in and get some inspiration. Now, the first couple of days are already gone, but my day is coming up. So if you just go to joykeepers.org/7 days, you can sign up and you'll see that me and some of the other people you may know from my tribe, like Paul Luftenegger and Steiner Ditlevson, each of us is contributing either a meditation or something live. So it's not like a summit. It's actually, well, if you come to mine on the 6th, it's me live transmitting some of the peace and the love and the joy that I tuned into over the holiday to beam that out around the world. So if you'd like to join us for that, it's still going on. Check it out. So because some of you asked in the Q&A session that I did on the live workshop on how to create your best year yet, I am going to shoot a video for you, which is a 2019 rewind, going over some of the things that I accomplished. Because a lot of people have had practical questions, not just, girl, how do you do it? People have literally been like, no, wait, how do you do it? How do you do the podcast and then these books and then you're traveling all over the world and then you're homeschooling your daughter and wait, and now you're healthy and, well, I mean, I've always been healthy, but you're healthy and you're doing all this yoga and qigong and running and and then all the shamanic ceremonies that have now become a part of my life. It's like, whoa. Well, I will dish. I will share anything you want to know. I'll answer questions as well. But again, I don't say this to brag or say, oh, be like me, because this fits me, my energy profile and my wiring. This is just what I'm up to. It's not for everyone. And I would definitely say, don't try to be it. Don't try to be that if that's not you. Thank you, Margareta. Awesome sauce. And yeah, that's exactly what it feels like to me. I love it. I love my life. I truly do. And to be someone who actually dealt with depression for so many years, I just feel incredibly grateful that I can wake up and call this life my life. So if you're curious about that, you can type in the comments that you'd like to get information on the 2019 rewind and how I do it all. A lot of it is actually thanks to my daughter. She's helped me develop a new system called Bullet Journal. You can Google it, go on YouTube. There's a bazillion different people who bullet journal. And I've adapted it for my own sort of life. And it's allowed me, there's two main things that you'll hear me talking about, and that's focus and flow. Now, I hope that you have created a focus for 2020 and this whole decade. I hope that it is not a resolution, because when we resolve to do something, it typically means we've been coerced or we're just like finally giving in. I would rather that you choose a focus that is truly inspired, coming from your heart and soul, that you know is going to be you using your talents and abilities to the best possible way for the greatest good, for yourself, for your family, for your community, for the planet. And if you can have that focus and then do the next F, which is flow, and that's all about how do you make sure that you're using your skills and talents in a focused enough way that you get into the zone. Now, there's lots of these flow hackers out there, and I love that it's gone from psychology into the mainstream. But that is really the key to my productivity. The way I can run multiple companies and deal with people in multiple countries and flying from different time zones is getting into the flow state, because it's that state where mind and body are just sort of melted into one. You lose that ego, that little crazy mind chatter. You become one with the task or one with the all. And in that brain state, you will find greater creativity, greater sense of happiness, purpose, and meaning. So you're going to hear a lot of us talking about flow this year and going forward, because it has been the number one secret to my success. Well, I guess that's two secrets: focus and flow. There's a third F, and that's follow through, but I'll save that for another video. But if that's of interest to you, then stay tuned, because getting into the flow state means you do the work, but you don't come out feeling depleted. And as a highly sensitive being, there have been times when I could push myself and really perform well, and then I crashed, either because I wasn't insulating myself from all the different energies around me, or I was just overgiving. But that's again why I now have the third week of the month where I'm not exposing myself to energy depletion. I'm restoring and refueling. It's why I start every morning with meditation and chanting and yoga and qigong, especially in the winter. So if that's of interest to you, if you're curious about that, just drop me a comment and I will connect you with some resources, including all the free meditations that will help you. We have just an 8-minute protocol. And if you are willing to just get up 10 minutes earlier, use the first 2 minutes to wash your face, brush your teeth or something so you kind of wake up, and then do the 8-minute meditation, I promise you will see shifts in your life. And the cool thing about it is there's brain science to back it up. So my last little tidbit for you here, I can't believe it's been 28 minutes. The last thing I want to tell you about for 2020 is something I'm completely nerding out about this one thing. And the one thing is this: we can modify the brain. Okay, so that's not new to you. You've heard of neuroplasticity. You've heard that we can change the wiring and literally change the structures of the brain. If you've taken my meditation course, then you know that even after just a few weeks of meditation, scientists have been able to see parts of the brain get thicker that are associated with concentration, and the parts of the brain that are associated with emotional reactivity, like the amygdala, get smaller. Well, what if you didn't have to go to some medical center to get MRIs? What if you could put on some little electrodes and see your brainwave patterns and how they correlate to those brain changes? Well, that's precisely what I am up to. I gave myself a beautiful birthday present. To me, it was like ultimate bliss. For my birthday, I spent some time with a lovely woman named Judith Pennington and her daughter Rachel in the United States. And Judith is the founder of the Institute for the Awakened Mind. And she is the keeper of all of the training material and research from Anna Weiss. And Anna Weiss was this American who worked with C. Maxwell Cade from the UK. And for the last 20, 30 years, they had previously been studying yogis and these deep meditators and psychics and mediums and hooking up their EEG, meaning their electroencephalogram, looking at their brain waves to see what happens when they go into a meditative state. What happens when they're doing hands-on healing or distance healing? And so Judith Pennington, no relation, but so cool that we have the same last name. Judith runs the training for North America and in other countries to help people learn how to hook up the mind mirror, this EEG and the software, so that you can see on a screen what your brain waves are doing and learn how to reproduce those states. So imagine you learn how to get into the deep meditative state, and you learn how to get into what they call the awakened mind state. And maybe you even train further to get into what they call the evolved mind. You could even get into unity consciousness and totally bliss out. But if you learned how to reproduce these brainwave patterns and know what it feels like and what you kind of do, whether it's a breath technique or a guided meditation technique, that's going to give you incredible confidence, and it tunes you into creativity. So since I've been doing this meditation work for, I don't know, literally 30 years, but teaching other people for 15 years, the missing piece for me was being able to show people exactly what happens in their brain as they're doing it, to give them proof. Like, don't just take my word that this is going to help your brain. Let's just watch it. Let's watch your brain in real time. Cool, right? So I gave myself that gift. So last November, I went to Pennsylvania, did this training, bought the mind mirror, have been hooking up my brain and other people's brains to see what's going on as they go through these meditative processes. And you'll hear about this a little bit more. One of the cool things is I will be working with one of our global luminaries, Willow McIntosh, who is the founder of Illuminance. He specifically works with high sensory individuals. Now, you may have heard of some people being called HSPs, the highly sensitive person. I hated it when somebody said that to me because it sounded so negative, like, eh, you're so sensitive. But what Willow has been kind of excitedly sharing for the last year and a half is that there's so much more research now that shows that there's an actual genetic trait for this sort of sensitivity. And it's not meant to be a bad thing. Yes, sometimes when we're around too much stimulation, whether that's electrical noise or noise from people or just the energy and vibe, it can be a little bit much for us. But if you learn how to ground yourself and use your sensory capabilities wisely, they can become superpowers. And as Willow has found, they can set you up for becoming an incredible leader. And so what I'm proposing is following HSPs, if you want to call them that. He calls them HSIs, high sensory intelligence people. I want to hook up their brains. Like, we know that we're different. All of us empaths out there, give me a high five if you're an empath. If you can feel other people's energy or emotions, or you pick up on things without anybody saying a word. Sometimes that can be great and sometimes not so great. But what if we could see what's going on in your brain? And what if we could train you to dial the sensitivity in such a way that you get the information, especially if you're a healer and you want the information, but you don't get the overwhelm. You don't get the overstimulation that can totally deplete you or freak other people out because you're like all over the place. So yes, Margareta says, woohoo! It is pretty amazing. So I'm going to interview Judith for the podcast and for this entire community so that you can hear from her this amazing research. I mean, she had the great opportunity to work with Anna Weiss all the way through to the end of Anna's life, and to be the one who has taken over this work and is now training others. Oh my gosh, it's mind-blowing to be able to bring the neuroscience in and let us see what's going on in our brains as we're doing this stuff and helping us hone our superpowers. Dude, I'm in heaven. All right, so I've gone on much longer than I intended. Just know that I am I am sending you so, so, so much love. I am so refilled and recharged. I know some of you in my various groups, you feel it when I tune in and start beaming love. I love that I get these messages that you feel it. If you need it, just hit me up. Leave a message in the comments if you want information on any of these things. But just know that you are so loved, and there is so much support and care around the world and in this universe that is destined for you, that it's already there for you. And so my mission is just to help you tune into all of that love and that power that's within you, that's within this universe, so that together we can make this world a better place for all of us. So I'm so grateful that you tuned in. I'm so grateful to have this connection with you. So I'm looking forward to being active a little bit more regularly. Just to share the love and the light and to support you. So have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. If you're not following me yet on Instagram, please do. I've found some renewed passion for graphics and sharing little audios over there. My handle is at Dr. Andrea Pennington. And if you're a YouTube kind of fan, come on over there as well and subscribe to the Pennington Media channel. And I would love to stay connected in every way, shape, or form possible. All right? Very good to see you all. Much love to you, Shamini and Margareta. I saw Vaughn was on. Rahema was on. Is it Rahemia or Rahemia? You're going to have to tell me how to say your name. What's up, Jill? Dr. Jill and Arvin. So good to see you all. And Jacqueline, oh, I didn't see that you were here, my friend. Good, good, good. And lovely Delia, you're going to be hearing me speaking Spanish as well. Oh, Delia, please don't kill me. I didn't talk about that thing for 2020. We're expanding into different languages. So you're going to start seeing Spanish and more French. My French, you can always imagine. I've lived here for 9 years, but I'm tuning back into my Spanish thanks to the lovely Delia, who is going to be doing some amazing work around the world. And hello to you, Gerd. Lovely to have you. I think I might actually make it to Norway this year, so everyone be on the lookout for that. All right, my friends, I am, just grateful for the connection. Much love to you. Ciao, ciao, ciao.